to Two Broads and a Brit, where we put the ass in class.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Lynn Hartram, here with my co-host, Caitlin Greer. Heyo! And Hazelnut.
Afternoon. Good morning.
Poor Lee. He's just Hazelnut. He doesn't even get a first name anymore. Just the
like-
nut.
It's like
I'm just going to start calling you the nut.
the nut.
The good old nut.
He's like Madonna, Cher, just needs the one name.
Just Hazelnut.
Rihanna.
Hazelnut.
But I do
That'll work.
I do like the nut. That's pretty good too.
Like, do you like the nut, Lynn?
I love the nut.
And we're off.
Right?
2 seconds in, we're making nut
Cut off.
references.
All right, so today,
Yes.
guess what we are discussing?
Do tell.
Noah and time travel.
Why did that get so sexy?
It
So
does.
fast.
No, I didn't think it did.
Let me tell you, Noah is anything but sexy.
I don't know if he's sexy. I can't see his fucking face.
Well,
Wait, okay, so for those people who don't know.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Noah claims to be a time traveler from the year 2030.
So far in the future
So
that
far.
you could never imagine what it would be like.
Mhm. But he tells us
and I might add that he's not brought back a single fucking newspaper.
no.
prick.
That time.
He has
nor
brought
he
back.
said, who's the president, because he won't reveal who the president is.
Well,
Right?
he did,
Oh,
didn't
yeah, he said in one of his videos, he said that Martin Luther King's granddaughter, what was her name? What was her name?
Oh my God, I can't
I'll
remember.
figure out her name.
Okay.
You keep
She's
No,
real.
did he
She's
say-
real. I looked her up.
Now, did he say if Dunkin' Donuts was still in operation?
He did not. Unfortunately, that was not.
We'll have to ask.
Okay,
They
well,
do
we'll
have
send him
Q&As. They have live Q&As on YouTube, so we can ask him one day. We'll just say, Noah, is it
Yeah.
still Duncan? Has it
Right.
just gone down to Dunks? Okay, so so Noah claims to be a time traveler from the year 2030. There are way too many videos of him on YouTube. Sadly, he's also been on some mainstream news channels, which I do not get. Yes.
He always has his face blurred out
He
in
does.
the YouTube videos as well.
And in the mainstream news channels, he does as well because he claims,
Seriously?
yes, he claims that it's for his own protection. He may be assassinated. He may.
Well, we can only hope.
Right. But he claims he is stuck here because he worked for the government in this time travel agency. I don't know what it is, program. But he and the group that he was with did something. Hold on. I wrote it down exactly because one of my favorite things about Noah is how well spoken he is. Truly. This is our ambassador in time.
Are you being
Well,
serious?
he's got this voiceover thing, hasn't he? His voice has been dubbed. It
Well,
sounds
it is. But
He
he,
like messes. Yes, he also alters the sound of his voice, so you can't identify him by his prepubescent voice because he looks like he's about
a 20 maybe.
maybe
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Like he just looks like some fucking high school kid who's doing a shitty high school project.
He
yeah.
does. That is very true. Yeah.
I also found out that the future president is her name is it's Martin Luther King's Jr.'s granddaughter. Her name is
Right.
Yolanda, and she's 20 years old, I think. She's gonna be 20.
She's
Right,
going to be
because-
president at 20 years
Yes,
old.
he claims that people are president younger
That it's now
In
she's like
the-
the youngest president.
in the far distant
In the-
future
in
of
the
11 years
way-
from now.
It'll be 11 years from now. It's a far distant future. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, yes.
So wild.
So I can't find what I wrote it down, but he basically said that somebody in the group did something. He wasn't specific, and so they were contacted and saying, "You guys are out. You screwed up. We're disconnecting your time traveling abilities, and you're now stuck in." This was in 2017 when he told us this.
So what I did see one of his videos, and I think it was the 4-minute one.
There's a million.
How many subscribers has he got?
I don't know, but there.
can't remember.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna look.
okay, there are way too many people.
I do
watched
remember.
I watched the live Q&A, and at the beginning they said there were 600 viewers.
Do we know it is?
Whether this is true or not, I don't know, but that's
Yeah.
way too many.
Yeah.
It was
I
bullshit.
mean, after viewing that 4 minutes, I just wish that someone would just do the world a favour and just basically, staple his penis to a radiator and just swish it, just like I'm sorry, Noah, but we can't take any more of this. If someone's turned the heating up, let's just get rid of this prick. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought he's a twat, basically, on YouTube.
Oh yeah, he's just he literally
It's
is
just ironic,
like,
considering the three of us.
I know, right? He's like a frat boy.
I can't find it. He is a frat boy.
Yeah. Because he'll say, like, I'm serious, guys. This is the truth. This is what happens in the future. And it's just the way he talks.
I know, he's like trying to overly convince you that he's actually right about time travel.
Yeah,
and he's got himself a time machine, bless him.
He does, yes.
And you think, you know what? I won't go to the year 4000 or 5327. I'm going to go to the year 2030, and I'm not going to be talked out of it. So
that's
good enough for me.
That's where
11 years from now, I won't be talked out of it.
Right. Well, let me give you guys a little background on our Noah. So Noah's first video was on the channel on YouTube, Paranormal Elite. It was in November of 2017, and it had over 2 million views.
How are there 2 million people out there watching this piece of shit? Like, do you think that they believe him? Or do you think that there's 2 million people going, ha ha ha, Noah the time clock?
Disturbing than that. Right. What's even more disturbing than that? He's probably getting paid a lot of money for that.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever YouTube pay for views, I don't know.
Right.
It's crazy. Yeah. So he says he's from the year 2030. He claims he has lived 50 years, but has taken drugs to bring him back to the age of 25.
Can he bring that?
Nice.
Well,
classy.
The Secret Space Program, which I'm sure we will do another episode in, does talk about age regression.
I think I have mental age regression.
But, just saying, maybe, but I highly doubt it. Okay, so he claims he's worked on a government project, traveling back in time, but he's now stuck in this time. And what was interesting about this video, what was interesting about this video is he didn't always do all of the talking. They sometimes put like captions up on the screen. So it would go black and it would put these captions to tell us about Noah's background. And they claimed he has depression and anorexia as a result.
Just fucking watching it.
I know, right? Depression and anorexia as a result of his time travel. He's sad and doesn't eat.
Sad and skinny.
Yeah,
sad and skinny.
I need to do some time traveling.
I need that, right? Sign me up for that. I already have the depression, so let's just cut out the evil and life will be.
Can't someone take him to Dunkin' Donuts then if he's not, if he's not eating for a while,
Because that makes everyone happy. Dunkin' Donuts.
It does. Give him some milk in his iced tea.
Just like Disneyland.
So in this video, he starts to break down and cry. And the good folks at Paranormal Elite put up a caption that says, "Don't feel bad for him. We sent him $700 worth of food and water. He will be okay for a little while."
I'm sorry, is he a fucking lab rat? They sent him food and water?
$700.
Is he a small African child? Like, who the fuck is
here in this time?
So he can't go get food?
Evidently not. Evidently not.
I hate
Does it say where he lives? What town?
No.
Where he's?
No, it's all. No, he keeps it all anonymous because he's a fucking liar. But because he's going to, right? Because he's worried about being assassinated by the government because he's speaking out. He says,
"Well, we all want to kill him after watching it." I mean, that's fair.
The government can't find you when you post videos on the internet.
Right. Yeah. They don't have that capability. It's not 2030 yet, Caitlin.
No. Do you remember? This is all that sticks in my head. Did you ever watch? Do you get Conan O'Brien in England? Do you get that?
Who does he play for?
Do you know? No, so Conan O'Brien is he was a late night talk show host. He still is. And they used to do this in the 90s. They did this segment where they would just be like floating heads.
Oh God.
And they would sing a song. They'd be like, "In the year 2000." And then they would say things like super ridiculous things that were going to happen in the year 2000. And every Noah thing, all that's playing in my head is "in the year 2000." Yeah. And it's, I'll send you a link. Send you a link.
I haven't seen that show, but send it over.
It's not good. It's not funny.
Not good.
It's not like a funny thing. I mean, I like Conan O'Brien, but it's the funny. Segment itself is sticking in my brain when we talk about.
Well, because he has these outrageous claims that are, 11 years in the future, 11 years. These things can't possibly even happen
right
in that short amount of time.
Right.
So let's see what happens in the future. In the future, an electric car can go over 600 miles on a single charge. I looked this up. Currently, because I didn't know, the average electric car can go about 100 miles on a single charge. So Tesla, one of the Tesla models can go 250.
Okay.
That's not
possible.
Yeah,
that might happen.
Yeah, we're giving the benefit of that for that. Yeah.
That one might happen. Okay.
But we're still going to kill him.
Right. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That goes with that question. In 2021, this is very specific. I don't know why. VR and AI, virtual reality, and artificial intelligence are huge.
Like my telescope.
Right?
Oh no, that's a different. Sorry.
So glasses have the power of a desktop computer as they are augmented reality devices.
Like eyeglasses?
Like eyeglasses.
So that's already happening.
Right.
Okay.
Google Glasses.
Google Glasses, yeah. So they basically will augment reality.
All right. So Noah's kind of feeding us some truth.
Okay, here we go. Trump is reelected.
I'll jump off a bridge.
He's by then, isn't he? Hang on, that doesn't make any. Oh, Trump is going to be reelected.
Yeah, in 2021, he's going to get reelected.
Well, considering that his main candidate might be Joe Biden, that might not be a bad thing. So.
Hey,
next.
Trump is always a bad thing.
Skip.
Okay,
that's what I say when I want to talk about the next thing.
Right?
I can't.
Yeah. No. All right. So I also watched a Q&A session. There's several of them. They're each about 2.5 hours long.
What?
They're ridiculous.
Who asks the Qs?
I don't know. There's a guy he's also on, most of his videos are on Apex TV on YouTube.
Okay.
And the guy from Apex who also has like sunglasses on and like a hoodie. Like
he Unabomber.
Yeah, he's got a Unabomber.
Like the Unabomber.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, he also evidently needs to remain anonymous because he looks like he's about 12. He asks the viewer questions. I don't know if these are questions that people actually submitted or if this Dingleberry just came up with questions on his own. Okay.
Was it the first question, Noah? Why are you such a cock?
Yeah.
It should.
I mean, that's just
to the hard-hitting
question. I can think of.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then we can ask some more questions down the line. But you know,
just quick question, wondering.
Yeah. And that's not from me. That's from 2 million people.
Right. 2 million inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah.
Why are you such a cock?
Yeah.
Oh, he'd probably cry.
He would cry.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So he says, I think they asked if he's traveled ahead of his time, so ahead of 2030. He said he hasn't traveled ahead of his time, but he has heard stories of others going up to the year 10,000. In the year 10,000. That's all he said. Didn't expound on it. Nope. That was just it.
That's it.
Right.
This was a very specific one. This one blew my mind. There is no specific cure to cancer in general, but some cancers can be cured.
Genius.
That goes on now.
Thank you for clearing that up, Noah.
Yeah,
I mean, bearing in mind this is in astonishingly 11 years' time.
Well, not to mention we can do that already.
Yeah.
Kinda. I mean, kinda.
Yeah, you can you can go into remission, and some cancers.
That's true. That's true.
You be gone. The melanoma, you cut it out.
Oh God, I got some questionable freckles that I should probably get checked out.
Go see Noah. He might be able to help you.
Show me the way.
All right. So they asked about cryptocurrency. This was a big question, evidently, among the viewers of Noah.
What's cryptocurrency?
Okay.
Like Bitcoin.
Okay, cool. Because I'm old, so I don't know.
Well, I've got some cryptocurrency, Lynn, so I could be interested in this.
There you go. You'll be good. Don't you worry, because he talks about you. He says cryptocurrency does well. People are still using Bitcoin, and now I wrote this word for word because.
Well, there's only 21 million Bitcoins in the world, but go on.
Okay, so say it in the accent.
Okay, so this is what Noah's exact quote was. No matter like how old they get, there's people in their 40s still using Bitcoin. That's it. No matter how old they get, people in their 40s, these elderly 40-year-olds. Bitcoin.
I'm so close to 40. That's a scary statement. I don't have any Bitcoin. Do I need it? Do people still use Bitcoin now?
Well, as an investment, yeah, but I mean,
but is it a real? Like
I mean,
some places.
one Bitcoin now is worth about $8,000.
What?
Are you
one
sure?
Bitcoin? Yes. Yeah, I check it every day.
I'm so
Do you
confused.
really?
I'm
Yes,
so
I do.
confused by Bitcoin.
Yeah, I have money invested in Ripple, which is the third one down, which is what the banks are hoping to use for transferring payments international, because they use something called Swift at the moment, which is slow and it's like 40 years old. So I invested a pot of money into Ripple. But Bitcoin, shut up, Lynn. For fuck's sake.
Lynn's taking a snoozer.
Right.
So
Yeah,
essentially,
Bitcoin. He could have told you what Bitcoin's worth.
when we're in the year 2030, we're gonna come live with Rich Lee because he's got the right investments.
That's right.
We're coming to you, Lee. You're gonna take care of us with all that Bitcoin money. Oh, or Ripple dollars, or whatever the fuck it is, or Schmeagle Schmooze. I don't know.
Ripple.
Oh,
Ripple.
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 I'm too dumb to understand.
I didn't get a word of it, so that's okay.
I'm a girl.
Right.
All right. So, is there a World War III? There is not, according to Noah. In some statements, in other statements, not so much. So he says, no, there is no World War III, very definitively. Just North and South Korea go to war.
Nice.
Haven't they kind of just not really been associating with each other for a long time?
Right. So then
that's been going on for fucking ages. I mean, he's just
This is not brain science. Like, okay, so then he says, remember,
brain science. Brain science. It's a real science.
And it's a real science.
I like it. Go on.
Yay.
Okay.
So remember, he said this in 2017. I can do it. In 2017. So he says in 2018. So now we'll know, did this come true or not? There will be increased tension and terror attacks. This is the start of the war. That being what he said would not happen. So
but there's terror attacks every fucking year. I mean, it's
gonna, and it does get. I mean, are there more? Yeah, because we talk about them all the time.
When was the last year that you can remember where there wasn't a single terrorist attack around the world that isn't leading to more and more?
Right.
So he's just talking out of his fucking ass.
This is why he's Nutsack Noah. Right there.
Not Nutsack Noah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so in the future, in the far distant future of 11 years.
In the year 2030.
He claimed there are about 50 countries in total. In a different video, he claimed that Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. all become one country.
In 11 years.
In 11 years.
And what did he say about Trump's beloved wall?
Well,
he didn't. Evidently, it doesn't matter because they're going to be a part of the U.S.
That's my question. So Trump gets reelected, right? And then all of a sudden he's like, you know what? Let's just fuck that wall. Right. Let's bring those Mexicans right over here. Right. Let's just share it all. Because I see Trump being that guy.
And did he say what the currency for the 3 countries are going to be?
Ripple.
Dunkin' Donuts are bringing out their own cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
So
it's called the Dunkin'.
Dunkin' Dollar.
The Dunkin' Dollar.
The Dunkin' Dollar.
You pay for everything with the Dunkin' app, and you get free drinks.
Yeah,
bonus. Okay, so they asked Noah, in your trips back to the future, have you ever met with your own past relatives? He says, yes, he has met with his past relatives.
And they told him to fuck off Back to the Future.
Yeah, basically he said something to the fact of, I've met with them, but I didn't think they would understand or believe that I was from the future. Shocking. So I didn't tell them.
I just can't,
He just rang the doorbell and said, I'm sorry.
I just picture Back to the Future, actual Back to the Future, and him just showing up like Doc Brown and being like, family. We've got to go back.
So, okay.
1.21 cryptocurrencies.
Oh my God. So they also asked him, did you ever go back and see yourself as a baby? Or see yourself
as
baby
Noah,
little Noah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Little twatlet.
Yeah.
And he said, no, he never met his past self because I didn't know where I was. I was a baby.
Really?
Quote.
Who doesn't hear their birth story? Who
Right?
doesn't know where they were born?
Right.
So he didn't know where he was born, what hospital he came out of, or where his parents lived when he was.
He didn't specify. Just said, I didn't know I was a baby. I didn't know where I was.
I like that he sounds like the turtle from Finding Nemo.
He's
does.
like,
totally,
dude.
It's not Squirt's the little one. I don't remember, but he sounds like
all right. All right. In the future, folks, we are getting more cleaner energy. Okay. Good to know. That's it. Didn't specify.
Cool.
North Korea will use a nuke, but he didn't want to tell us when or where.
Very fucking helpful, dickweed.
That's what they kept saying. Why won't you tell us? And he said, well, because I don't want the people to move out of there, because maybe these are people that should have been killed, and then they go on and do something and it changes the future from our present.
But yet he went back and met with his family.
Right. Noah the Nutsack. I don't know what to tell you.
Noah the Nutsack.
Quick question from me about Noah. And how long has Noah been doing the rounds on YouTube, spouting this?
Since 2017. November 2017 was the first one. So about a year, year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, coming up for 2 years. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Hey. Oh, they asked him about flat Earth. Nuh-uh. Oh, yeah. What about the flat Earth theory in the future?
And?
I believe in flat Earth. And he said it was quickly disproven because they said, well, how is it disproven? How do people believe? I mean, they can't just tell him it was a globe. They're not going to believe. And he said, oh, no. In the future, 2030, commercial space travel had gotten really cheap. So people are able to see it for themselves. It's a globe. Because they're flying around.
Yeah.
Like, how fast?
11 years' time.
In 11 years' time, we're all going to be going up in space.
In 11 years' time, space travel is going to be so cheap, we won't get the Greyhound bus. We just go by space shuttle.
Yep,
that gets there
into space,
in just 11 years' time.
Right.
Marvelous.
But he did say moon tourism wasn't good. It was no bueno. So they had to do some, PR because they needed more people to go to the moon to raise some money. But evidently,
between now and 2030, people were going to the moon, but it didn't pan out.
Who would want to go to the moon?
Lance Bass.
I totally would.
Isn't it Lance Bass that bought a ticket to space? Isn't it him?
Did he? I would do it if I had the money. Fuck yeah, I would. Okay, so now they said, well, hey, Noah, are there any side effects from time travel? And he said, yes, there are. Your blood pressure can go up and you can hallucinate. But
well, that's just the fucking viewers watching that twat.
Right? Yeah, right? I think he is hallucinating.
My fucking blood pressure rocketed after watching him perform.
Right, it did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he says there are pills or an injection that you can take, and it lessens the time of these side effects. So the average side effects, like duration would be 25 minutes. But if you take these pills or the injection, it goes down to about 5 minutes.
How futuristic!
Or we could just all club together and just give him some cyanide.
There
you go. No,
such a good idea. It really is.
It's an aspirin, but you'll be all right.
The cops are going to show up at Lee's door because he's just threatening to kill this kid. Right? He's like, if no one dies, it's on you.
I was in a good mood 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks, Noah.
Thanks,
Noah. Yeah, thanks, Noah.
Okay, so evidently in 2018, and I didn't look this up, I should have to see, but there were going to be a lot of big earthquakes happening. Or as he put it, there's going to be much major earthquakes.
In 2030, English is different, right? We speak.
Is it?
We speak like morons.
I was gonna say.
There's going to be much major earthquakes, bro.
Seriously, guys, there's going to be much major earthquakes in 2018. You'll see this. Ugh. So they said, well, Noah, how do you know all of this stuff? And Noah's response, quote, I have a memory that can fit a bunch of things and can pull them out whenever. I'm relaying all these things from my strong memory.
Right. Not to be confused with just plucking things out of his arse.
I think that's great.
You know,
He's got a great memory.
great.
He's really good at the game memory.
He can,
Lose
he can talk
something.
out of his backside as well. He's multi-talented.
Yeah.
You know.
If you lose something, he'll tell you where to find it because he remembers.
He remembers. He can fit a bunch of things in his memory. That big old memory of his. Ew.
I hate him.
Yeah.
Boo. Okay.
Mm.
Guess what's big business in 2030?
Go on.
Hovering. Things that hover.
Is this seriously? Did he just watch Back to the Future?
Mm.
And he was like, hoverboards.
Yeah, so what, hoverboards?
I have an idea.
What, vehicles?
Well, they
Vehicles?
asked. They said, okay, well, we'll get to that. They said, well, they did ask, hey, do we have hoverboards? Do they figure that technology out? And he said, yeah, they do have some things. And they said, well, what about cars?
Oh, how clear of it.
Yeah, right. What about cars? Can cars hover at that point in time? He said, oh, no, cars are too heavy. They don't have that technology quite
Right,
yet.
so can I just jump in there?
We can go to space.
Right?
Yeah, so we can go to space as tourists, but they can't build a flying car in that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wrap your brain around this one, right?
Yeah,
Cars
that
are
makes
too
a lot of
heavy.
sense.
Cars are too heavy, but cities are placing hover material in their sidewalks.
What? Why floating sidewalks?
Floating sidewalks.
You can't even get a fucking normal sidewalk in half of the cities.
Well, hang on, there are parts in the south, the deep south that I went in. I didn't see any sidewalks at all.
I know.
None.
Right.
Yeah.
But don't worry, because we're just gonna skip that part.
Right. In 2030,
right.
they hover because what's the
Yeah,
point
they
of
hover.
that?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why do we need hovering sidewalks?
I hate it.
But I love that a car is too heavy, but cement evidently is not.
No.
I know.
Lots
Have you
and
ever
lots of
lifted
cement.
cement?
Yeah.
Holy bejesus.
Right? Like these giant cement pathways. They're fine. Okay, so do we think Noah is a liar? Wow. They did a lie detector test. Yes, they did.
Nuh-uh.
My impression of the lie detector test, it was a shit show.
Who did the lie?
They didn't show.
So
they just show him with the little things around his chest, the little finger sensors on, sitting in a chair with his face blurred out because his face is always
Okay,
blurred.
so if
I'd like to basically put him in a chair, but they call it the electric chair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Different
my
kind of
God.
chair.
I'm gonna.
If you can just come this way, Noah. This is the same chair that they fried Ted Bundy, but you'll look fine in it. Don't worry about that. Yeah, you might feel a little twitch,
Lee.
but it's all for the good of the nation. So basically, what was the outcome of this lie detector test? Was it truth or bollocks?
Some of the questions were true. Most of the questions they didn't say one way or the other because they just flashed up onto the screen, true or false. Most of them they didn't say one way or the other. But he's also, for those of you watching the video, you can see he's fidgeting around like this the entire time. Yeah. Whereas if you've ever seen an actual lie detector test, they say, please sit still, don't move. The movement can affect the results.
Right.
So he's so not only is he fidgeting and moving all the time, he's pulling the fucking sensors off his finger and putting them back on while he's talking.
Oh. Yeah.
That works.
Like that the whole time.
In the year 2030. In the year 2030, that's how you do a lie detector test. You actually don't comply to any of the rules.
Oh.
And you just fuck off. And that's how it works.
Oh, one of the things I forgot to tell you about Noah, he claims that in the year 2030, everybody has these microchips inserted into their arm, right?
Yeah.
So because he worked for the government, his is on his left wrist, but the average person who doesn't work for the government, it would be in their right. They did an X-ray, and there is some sort of implant.
No, sir.
Yes.
Does he have a scar?
I don't know. It didn't show. But
who did the X-ray?
The guy who ate the TV, it was his doctor. That's all they said. He said, will you go with me to my doctor?
I don't believe it.
To get it. Well, you know what? It's possible. They can do that now. Yeah. I've seen it on TV shows.
Like a dog.
It's basically like a microchip, like a dog. Yeah, where you can unlock your car, you can pay for things.
Ew.
Yeah.
So he's had that input. He's got that, and it's shown up on an X-ray of some kind.
They showed the X-ray, and it looks like there's a little. Yeah, it looks like exactly like a microchip, like a grain of rice. If you had your dog microchip, it looks like a little grain of rice. That's what it looks like. So he probably just had that inserted. If that X-ray is
just an actual grain of rice.
Yeah, right.
He's like, come on, Uncle Ben, get in there.
Right?
Yeah.
Get in here, minute rice.
Yeah.
I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think what else would actually look good on him, and that's a bear trap.
Oh, hazelnuts on fire.
Love this. This is just good. Good. It's just good television.
Good television. In one of the videos, he showed a video from the future, and it legit is just a CGI video of these like buildings with these flying cars. It's not even good. Yeah. Buildings with flying cars going by.
It looks like a high school graphics project.
It does, yeah.
But what did he say?
He says yes. Why does the video that way? Because when you time travel, it distorts the video, which he transported on a thumb drive. From 2030.
Yeah, the SD card.
Yeah.
How convenient.
Gets fucked up.
Yeah, we can travel to space, but evidently they still use SD cards.
Yeah, how convenient.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right.
How convenient.
I don't know.
It's like the flat earthers. He's got an answer for everything.
Right. He does. It's terrible.
You know, he's got an answer for everything. Fucking wankers you have to put up with on YouTube.
Including us.
I'll include myself in that. But it's just one of these annoying fucking tits that, you know, he's a bit, how much more this fucking idiot have you got to tolerate? But he's getting 2 million hits. He's got an answer for everything. He's got something implanted on his left hand. You know, he's got all the time travel capabilities in the world, and the best he can get to is 2030.
That's where he came from.
No, you're a twat, is what I have to say to that.
Oh God, he did.
And with chocolate sprinkles on the top.
Oh, a chocolate sprinkled twat. I think I've seen that on the internet somewhere.
Gross. Just didn't shave.
Yeah, it's just.
Lynn. Yuck.
Oh my God.
Yuck.
Oh, whoo. He did show his time travel device. Caitlin liked that video.
I saw that. Yeah.
It looked like he went to Home Depot and got like a block of wood and just spray painted it black.
Yeah.
And was like holding it and like, this is the top and this is the bottom.
They all look
and it's just a black square.
Yeah.
And it made me want to jump on the Lee train and just murder him. Mm-hmm. With the block. I would just smash his head in with his time travel device.
Yeah. So
you can travel to a different dimension that way.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And can come back and tell us, dude, you'll never believe what I saw.
It wasn't even a device that was big enough to fit him inside. It was just
no. There was no explanation as to how it works.
He said you hold it up to your wrist.
Yeah, but how does it work?
I don't know.
Dickhead.
I think he said something like, I don't really know the mechanics of it all. He probably didn't use mechanics because that's much too big a word for him. But, I don't really know how it works. It's just, you put it up to your wrist where the chip is, and then you get transported. It's totally painless. Whereas before he was saying your blood pressure increases and you hallucinate. But in this
instance, sounds like a fun ride, though. Imagine you're time traveling and then you get to where you're going and you're just hallucinating a bunch of shit. And you're like, oh, there's dragons! The flowers are 30 feet tall and they're gonna eat us.
There's people in San Francisco who do that every day. It's called LSD. And it's probably a lot cheaper. So, but I just think I reckon he's got his mate to film him.
Yeah, for sure.
And when they press the stop button, they must just piss themselves fucking laughing.
Oh my God. This seems like something that my friends and I would have done in high school.
I know. I was going to say, it seems like, at a frat house, they were like, you know what? Let's totally try this. And they came up with the scheme, like, let's say you're from the future, we'll blur you out. People will totally fall for it.
Well, I think there's
I don't know what
three options
are at all.
I think there's three options. Basically, It's absolutely true.
Imagine.
Oh my God.
I don't want to say it, but
Right.
that's one of the options. It's absolutely true. He is a time traveller.
Yep.
He has been to the year 2030. It's all marvellous. He's come back and he's done the world a favour by reporting on it.
Right.
B, he's completely fucking mad, which is kind of where I'm swinging.
All right.
Oh, you think he believes it himself, huh?
Well, I think he's just completely fucking mad, and believes it himself, or he's on some sort of medication.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's not cyanide. And C, basically, he's having a right old jolly up with one of his mates. He's got a regular job, funny as fuck if you go out for a drink with him. And when his mate presses the stop button, they just piss themselves fucking laughing.
Oh, that reminds me. In the Q&A, sorry, Lee, just interrupted.
Someone's got to film it.
Yeah. Well, in the Q&A live session, guess what one of the questions was that the guy from Apex TV says?
What?
Is Apex TV still around?
I hate. And the answer was?
And the answer was, yeah, it's a really big corporation. That's why a lot of these time travelers are talking to you guys, because they know you're a really big organization in the year 2030. I mean, there's bigger ones out there. I don't want you to get a big head or anything. You're not the biggest. But yeah, you're big organization in 2030.
It's not a bad impression.
That's
actually a really good impression.
It's a pretty spot on impression. He does sound
like
very
good. I mean, the only thing that's missing after each sentence is I'm just like totally bummed out for a while.
So okay, watching Noah. Let's be done with Noah, because frankly, I just can't handle any more.
All right,
Noah than Nutsack.
See you later, Noah.
Noah's out. All right. So I was curious, what time travel?
Right.
Is it possible? Is it really possible?
What, in my car? No.
We can go, right? There are conspiracies, and I am happy to share them at another point in time. However, I wanted to know, mainstream science, do they believe that time travel is possible?
All right.
Most of the physicists that I saw on YouTube, because I did some very diligent research.
Yeah.
Most of
the internet says.
So it must be true. But most of the physicists said they think, or they know, time travel into the future is possible, but they don't believe time travel into the past is possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. They were talking about the grandfather paradox. We've kind of all heard this, like you go back into the future and you kill your grandfather and then you no longer exist.
Wait, do you go back in the past?
All right, sorry, go back into the past, you kill your grandfather, you no longer exist, but because you no longer exist, your grandfather is still alive.
Right.
So you get caught in this
I have a different theory to that. Can someone just go back in time and kill Noah?
We can only hope.
How would we do it? Tell me in detail so I can be a.
Well, first of all, I think I'd like to put his head in a vice and just boot him up the arse all afternoon.
Boot him up the asshole.
That sounds real fucked up, though. That sounds like a different kind of thing, not like a murder.
That
like
sounds like something you're
like
enjoying a little too much.
Yeah, until he confesses that he's been spouting bollocks on YouTube.
We're still gonna do it. Okay,
we're still doing it.
We're still doing that.
We're gonna butt torture him.
But
you just said it. Make it me. I don't want to butt torture anyone, so that's on you. We'll put his head in a vice and we'll butt torture him until he tells us the truth.
Yeah. Okay. So the physicists. To get back to them.
Back to science.
Damn it. So the grandfather paradox is one reason they think that time travel into the past wouldn't be a good thing, or just isn't possible. They also conjecture that there are these laws of nature that kind of prevent it. So that's why we think it's impossible to do, and that nature's kind of set itself up this way so that we can't go back into the past and do anything. It's a way to protect itself. I don't know. That seems like nature is very sentient at that point in time, which maybe, I don't know. But they said, according to our current understanding of time and space, they don't believe it's possible, but they certainly can't completely outrule it. They just don't think, based on what they know now, they don't see a way to do it. However, time travel into the future to go back. Time travel into the
Doc
future
Brown would be so pissed.
Yeah, right.
I'm super into Back to the Future, guys. There's gonna be a lot of this coming out of my face because that's all, I can't help it. So go on.
Okay, time travel into the future is already proven. Did you know this?
No,
I didn't know this either. So there is a professor of particle physics in your neck of the woods, Lee. He's in
Dr. Fuckernuts, is it?
Dr. Brian Cox.
No.
Pretty close. Brian Cox, yep.
Close. Yeah. Not Dr. Fuckernuts.
No,
Dr. Cox. Here to teach you about time travel. That's his theme song. He has one.
Right. He's
right.
He's
gonna.
Right, okay.
Yes, he's at the University of Manchester.
I know who he is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So he did this experiment or something or this not really experiment, display, I guess, to kind of show the average person, me, who doesn't understand particle physics.
Yeah.
That so he said moving clocks run slow in relation to stationary clocks. So the way they demonstrated this was they had a guy on this kind of like a little trolley that you could push back and forth, right? With it looked like a kind of a light, like a flashlight, basically.
Okay.
And they had him go up and down, up and down.
What was he doing?
Flashlight.
I was going to say we're back to polishing telescopes again, aren't we?
Hey, this is Dr. Cox, people. So
it's real heavy, so we needed to use two hands, up and down, twisting motion sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. You have to get serious with you people.
I'm sorry. I'm a perv. I'm just an old perv.
The scientists would be appalled.
Okay, so he's
actually
up
they're
and
like,
down,
what?
Up and
okay,
down.
so he's moving the light up and down to show. Okay, everybody look and see how fast it's moving, right? So then he has someone push the trolley, and he keeps going at that same speed with the light up and down. And they turn out the lights, and you can see that when he's still, it looks like it's moving faster. But when the thing is moving, it looks like it's going kind of in a V pattern because he's now moving. So the light looks different.
Right.
So it's moving at different speed. According to us, the observer, according to him, they had like a GoPro camera on his thing. It still looked exactly the same because he's right in front of it.
Because it is exactly the same. It's just,
it's different. It looks slower to us, the observer.
Right.
But this is Einstein's special theory of relativity, which basically says that time is not constant. Time is relative to us. So the observer will experience time differently than the actual thing. So, for example, in the Hadron Collider, right? You know, the big Hadron Collider.
Yes.
Protons can reach up to, and I got to look this, I wrote it down so I remember, 99.9999991% the speed of light. So they move almost at the speed of light, which I didn't realize.
Protons do?
Yeah, in the Hadron Collider, they can reach that speed, right?
It's hadron.
No, it's not. It's hadron. It's hadron.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are you British?
What
hadron.
Is it? Hadron. Hadron.
Oh, it's hadron.
I thought it was hadron.
What?
The
Hadron.
The collider, the particle collider.
Hydron.
Hydron.
Oh,
what do you say?
British fuck. We'll agree to disagree. We're all gonna agree. Hadron, hadron, hydron.
Hadron.
All right,
go. The collider. All right. So the protons can move almost at the speed of light, basically. And time passes 7,000 times more slowly for the scientists watching the proton than it does for the proton. So they gave I know.
Did they put a GoPro on the proton's head? That's how they found out?
They did. It was a little tiny GoPro.
A baby GoPro.
Right. So for the proton, time would appear to be passing normally.
Right.
For the person watching it, this is like the light that moves more slowly as it's moving, right?
Yeah.
Time is going slower. So for the proton, a second feels like a second, looks like a second. For the person watching it, it's 2 hours for that same time period. I know.
My brain just melted.
It gets confusing, right?
That's confusing. Okay.
So basically when the proton comes, or say it moves around and then it sits still, it's now in the future because, oh, no, wait. Now I'm getting confused. Okay, different example. I'll give you a different example. It's a little easier to understand, okay, for you and I. Okay, so Dr. Cox says, so if a man traveled in space at like 99.94% the speed of light. So he's almost at the speed of light because you can't quite reach the speed of light.
Okay.
Based on Einstein's theory. So, or you could, but it just wouldn't work. Anyway, so he's almost at the speed of light. He travels out 5 years. He turns around and comes back. Takes him another 5 years to get here, right?
Right.
5 years and 5 years. So for him, 10 years have passed.
Right.
Yeah.
But because we on Earth have been moving at a different rate, 29 years have passed. So now when he gets here, it's actually 19 years in the future for him.
Yeah.
Like every sci-fi.
I've heard that before, but that will never happen, Lynn, because a human can't travel that speed. So it's all irrelevant. But I hear what you're saying.
Right. Yeah. We can't yet. But, well, or maybe we can. Secret space.
Well, according to Noah, yes.
Yeah, right. But
easy.
There was a woman astronaut, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, who spent like 600 and something days in space.
Wait a minute. There was a woman astronaut?
No, this was in 2030 when everybody was more advanced.
Did she crash the ship? No, I love women. I'm just kidding. Feminists, calm down.
So she spent, a long time in space, almost 2 years. And when she came back, it was a difference of like a fraction of a second or like 3 seconds or some small minute difference, but there was a difference in time for her versus those of us who've been on the planet.
How did they know that?
I think watch, because the clocks will move more slowly too. It's like, let's bring it back to
when the battery starts dying.
It's like
it gets a little fucking slower. So,
but there's clocks on the International Space Station too, and they run, I think, at a different rate than the clocks on the Earth.
It's a bit like, Lynn, it reminds me of if you put a person in a lift or elevator, as you guys call it, the elevator.
That was nice. You want to take the elevator? We're too fat to walk
the
up
elevator. Geez, we're still waiting for the elevator.
That's pretty good. That was really good.
How bad was it? Well, I did spend 4 months there. So if you put a person, you put like a fat bastard in the lift, and you set him up or down, at some point he's going to weigh different to going up or down. If he stands on a set of scales, those scales will move. Like his weight will go up and down.
Motion on an elevator to get the number I want.
That's where we're going wrong.
Yeah. So his weight will go up or down. I'm sure it doesn't have to be a fat bastard, but it can be any person. Your weight will. No, I just thought I'd throw a fat bastard in there for good measure, but
it's a better
your
visual.
weight will go up and down as the lift goes up and down.
Yeah.
Have you heard that before?
No, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that would be affecting gravity, right? Is that why?
I don't know the reasons why,
like when you ride,
it's a known.
A ride that drops you real fast,
thing.
and you're
weightless. Or what you could do is you put Noah in the lift, and then you say, right, we're going down.
Then you send it to the speed.
So we're going down, and then you stop the lift in between 2 floors, and you just go home.
Or maybe you just cut the brake.
Right, so it crashes all the way through the flat Earth.
You just leave him and just say, you know what? Ta-da, mate. Yeah, that's the end of him. Right.
Unlike the Earth, we just came full circle.
That's right.
So there's another method of taking out Noah.
Basically, okay, so a really easy way to understand it is like from the movie Interstellar. You guys saw that?
Yes.
So basically, when you get closer to a black hole, time is going to move more slowly. So he was saying, like he had to go close to this black hole. By the time he got back, his daughter was an old lady. He was still the same age, right? Pretty much. So kind of the same concept.
Okay.
Right. Now, okay, so all right, that's all theoretical, right? What about the government? What about conspiracies?
About what? Time travel?
Time travel. So I looked it up. I went to, the Freedom of Information Act, the CIA website. You can look up these documents.
Cool.
Type in time travel.
You can do that?
You can.
My first thought of that is you've got far too much time on your hands.
I travel in time.
Yes.
At a rate about 60 seconds per minute.
I travel.
So does it say about the Philadelphia experiment?
Well, that's what I'm getting to. Yes, very good. So it didn't say, I didn't look up the Philadelphia experiment, but I just typed in time travel to see what the fuck would come up. And surprisingly, there were some things. This isn't time travel in the sense that we normally think of with, Noah's little black box physically traveling to a different time.
Right.
So this might be considered, I don't know if it'd be considered dimensional, but basically they did these experiments, or ran these programs. They weren't even experiments. They were programs that lasted for years, dealing with psychic things. Okay, so remote viewing was one issue that they looked at. So remote viewing, for anybody who doesn't know, I'm assuming everybody does.
I
you don't know what remote viewing? Okay, so remote viewing is basically you get into this very meditative state, and you have
that's LSD again.
And you have right. They did do experiments with LSD, actually, yes. But you get like into an out of body place. Okay. So your consciousness can leave your body and travel to different places.
Well, that sounds like what do they call that? Oh Christ!
Astral travel.
Yes,
that's it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Astral projection.
Yeah, astral projection. Yeah, basically. So they had these people who there were remote viewers, who were fairly accurate. So they would test them, and they would give them coordinates and say, "Tell me what you see there." So they would get into the state. They would say, "Okay, I'm ready." And they would say, "Okay, these are the coordinates." And they would just give them the numbers. They wouldn't tell them anything about it and say, "Describe what you see." And so they would describe it, and then they would draw out what they saw. And the person who was doing it didn't usually know where those coordinates were,
right,
to make sure there was no influence.
Right.
So I knew about that. Okay. Like I knew they did the remote viewing. What I didn't realize that I found in some of these documents was that they also had them travel through time. So they would take them to a certain place and say, "Okay, tell me what you'd see." And then they'd say, "Okay, now we're going to travel 1 year into the future and tell me what you see."
So, but how?
Or into the past.
They just can do it? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. They had ways of training them.
Like okay.
Is it an online course?
So this first documents that I found, which is it was a different project I hadn't heard about called Project Sunstreak.
I've done that once or twice.
Oh yes.
Get a little sunburn places you never want sunburns.
Nope.
Go on.
All right, so this was a session report that they did with someone. So they did not tell this person they were going to be traveling in time. They just knew they were going to go for a remote viewing session.
Okay.
So let's see. The interviewer was told, this is reading from the report, the interviewer was told that previously reported data was accurate to confirm that source had in fact acquired the proper site. So the person was able to see the site accurately.
Okay.
It was important, however, to note that future sessions should not concern themselves with the ongoing activities of the site, but rather the activities of the site specifically, and then it's redacted, at something at the site 1 year into the future. In other words, the actual intelligence question is whether the activity is continuing 1 year from now and not what the actual activity is. So they wanted the subject to go to this place and not necessarily focus on what they were doing there, but to figure out whether or not this activity was still occurring 1 year from now. So Noah would know.
So they go to the place in the present.
Yep.
And then try and
say, okay, a year from now, this is what's happening.
It's a lot. Go on.
Right. Okay. So they said the source was not told that the purpose or intentions of this session would be a time travel into the future. It says that on the document. Source was provided the previously encrypted coordinates of the site. No further cues or descriptive data were provided to the source. So, all right. So this is what the person said. So it goes through, I won't read the whole thing, where they go through and describe the area, what's there. Obviously, they were able to confirm, yes, that this person was at the right place. And it says, the person reported 1 year from now, there is a much more military feeling about the site, whereas earlier, most of the military at blank, redacted, black, had been specialists, SG-1A. Now the military are a part of an entranced military style bureaucracy, or type bureaucracy. Anyways, so basically there's more military at the place.
Okay.
Many of the projects from a year ago have been dropped now in the future. a year in the future when I queried a man in a brown uniform containing many metals. So evidently he's able to talk to someone in the future.
A man in a uniform normally works behind the counter at McDonald's, doesn't he?
I think that's Burger King in the brown uniforms.
They get lots of medals at Burger King.
They do. So he says, if the work from a year ago had been successful, he replied, in quotes, successful enough. The work done then provided the basis for work now going on a year in the future. The work has been pared down and altered due to the elimination of free and unrelated research and is now more channelized and regimented.
So this guy or lady,
yeah, we don't know who
whoever
the
was the astral projector, projects into wherever the fuck this place is, and then projects into the future, and then goes and talks to a fucking military official, and the military official tells them
like, hey, yeah,
information.
That's all believable. That's all believable.
Was his name Noah?
Okay, so if that's not enough to fucking blow your brain, right? We've got a Mars exploration.
Cool. Well, let's go to Mars.
Okay, so this one, Mars. The sealed envelope. They gave a sealed envelope to the remote viewer. And it just...
like the Oscars.
Yeah.
We got... Who's coming on with the envelope and who's going to win?
Mars.
Yeah.
So they had... the envelope, let's see, hold on. In the envelope was a 3x5 card with the following information. So this is what was given to the remote viewer. The planet Mars, time of interest, approximately 1 million years BC. So they wanted this person to go to Mars and then travel back in time 1 million years BC to see what was going on Mars.
Dinosaurs.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Martian dinosaurs.
Okay. So I have the transcript of this. I'll read you a little bit of it. I'll read you a little bit of the beginning just to set it up, and then there's a really interesting part that is later on. So it says, all right, now, using the information in the envelope I've provided, exclusively focusing your attention now, using the information in the envelope, focus on 48.89 degrees north, 9.55 degrees west. So talking about the planet Mars, giving them coordinates. The subject says, I want to say it looks like, I don't know, it sort of looks, I kind of got an oblique view of a pyramid or pyramid form. It's very high. It's kind of sitting in a large depressed area.
Was it sitting
Cydonia, isn't it? And does it mention Cydonia in that report? No, seriously, the area of Mars that has the pyramids and the...
No, it doesn't say, it has the coordinates, so I don't know. We could look that up.
The region...
So if any of our listeners out there...
All three of you.
All three of you know coordinates for Cydonia. Is it 48 or 40.89 degrees north and 9.55 degrees west? So that's your homework, Lee. So he says it's yellowish and ochre colored. Ochre is green, so I don't know why he said that. Then he says, all right, move in time to the time indicated in the envelope, which was 1 million years BC. I've provided you and describe what's happening. He says, I'm tracking severe clouds, more like dust storm. It's geologic problem. Seems to be like, just a minute, I've got to iron this out. It's really weird. Just report your raw perceptions at this time. You're still early in the session. Subject says, I'm looking at an after effect of a major geologic problem. The monitor, whoever says, okay, go back to the time before the geologic problem. Total difference. It's before there's no, I don't know. Oh, hell, it's like mountains of dirt appear and then disappear when you go before. See large flat surfaces, very smooth angles, walls. They're really large, though. I mean, they're megalithic. So he's describing this area, right?
Yeah.
And then he says, I'm seeing it's like a perception of a shadow of people. Very tall, thin. It's only a shadow. It's as if they were there and they're not there anymore. Yes, this piques the monitor's interest. So he says, go back to a period of time where they are.
It's so easy to do as well, isn't it?
Evidently.
Yeah, just go back.
Yeah, I dream of Genie. Yeah, I dream. Damn it!
It's a bit like you're in the car park. It's like, oh, can you just go a bit further down? And yeah.
So evidently
go back in time another 500,000 years, and
he takes his black box, touches it to his wrist, boop. Here I am.
He knows.
So he says, it's like I get a lot of static on the line and everything. It's breaking up all the time, very fragmentary pieces. So I guess it's difficult for him to travel back in time.
Well, he's like, at this point, he's like 2 million years.
Right.
BC.
He doesn't know. Yeah. So then the monitor say, hey, settle down. Don't worry. Just report the raw data. Don't.
I just want to believe like so bad, but I make it so hard.
Don't try. I'm sure he said it more professionally than the way I'm interpreting this.
Calm down, little bear.
It's all right, little one.
The thing is, if the landscape looks the bloody same for all time, how does he know what fucking year he's in? It's all going to look the same.
He does.
It's one big red ball.
Right.
Unless he's going to report back and say, no, it's fucking flat.
It's flat.
Flat Mars theory. We got flat Mars, and there's a fucking dome on the top of it.
Right.
That's it.
Would you believe it?
Would you believe it? Guy wearing a shirt. I am Mars Sergeant.
Mars Sergeant.
Did it. That's all we have for tonight. Good night. Okay, so let's bring this back because this is interesting.
Okay.
So he says, I just keep seeing very large people. They appear thin and tall, but they're very large, wearing some kind of strange clothes.
He's gone to Houston.
Yeah.
They all look like that there.
So the monitor says,
It's not
all
a
right.
Mars at all.
Listen to this one, Lee. So, all right, now holding this time period. So he wants them to stay in this time period. So they're interested in the Mars people. I want you to move from your physical location in space to another physical location, but in this time period. Now move to 46.45 north, 353.22 east. Move in this time, and he repeats the coordinates again.
So how does the person know coordinates? Do they have like a built-in compass?
Just thinking that. Something on their wrist that he types in the corner.
On the cube.
He has a little grain of rice in his wrist.
Or does he have a compass? Or
It's okay, keep going.
Okay, so he describes kind of the area. But one thing I did find interesting for those who are interested in the pictures of Mars who they believe have been doctored.
Yeah.
He does say, so he gives them the coordinates. These are slightly different coordinates. This is a little further on. And he says they have, it appears to be at the end of a very large road. There's a marker thing that's very large. Keep getting Washington Monument overlay. It's like an obelisk.
Oh.
Which is interesting because a lot of people say in some of the pictures of Mars, it looks like there's an obelisk.
That's like the Washington Monument is an
obelisk. Yes.
Yeah.
So fucking male Martians putting phallic fucking statues on Mars. Get out of here with your big old telescopes.
Yeah. Yeah. So
has he gone up there with an iPhone app that says Mars compass?
Right? Google Maps. Google mapping. He's like, I need to go to this latitude and longitude.
Oh, yeah, Google Mars or something. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so do you want to hear more about the people?
Yeah.
Okay. So later on, he sees some structures, and he say they look like structures from the storms. I'm assuming geologic storms that he was talking about before, like the sandstorms. He said they look like shelters from storms. Monitor says these structures you're seeing. Subject: yes, they're designed for that. Monitor: all right, go inside one of these, find some activity, and tell me about it.
It's dangerous.
So it took this guy 37 minutes. It says plus 37 minutes real time. So he was very thorough.
Right.
There's different chambers, but they're almost stripped of any kind of furnishings or anything. It's like a strictly functional place for sleeping. But that's not a good word. Hibernation, some form. I get real raw inputs, storms, savage storms, and sleeping through the storms. So the monitor says, well, tell me about the ones who sleep through the storms. So it seems like they're interested in these beings,
of course,
on Mars, right?
Well, quick question to jump in.
Yes.
Who's he having this dialogue with?
This is the subject, the remote viewer.
So there's a government official.
Yeah.
Right. So he's going back in time.
Mm-hmm. On Mars.
On Mars, as one does.
Right.
And he's having straight dialects with this remote viewer.
Right. Well, the remote viewer's right there, obviously.
It's because he's astral projecting.
Right. Think of hypnotic regression. So the one person's laying there talking and the other person's asking questions. Same kind of concept.
That's what they think. They're actually secretly going down their wallet. But
right.
Well, now he's under. Right, let's get his wallet out. Right.
Oh, this prick only has $3.
Let's take him back to
and
2 million
Blockbuster card.
Really, as a time traveler.
What year is it?
Okay, so just tell me about the ones who sleep through the storm. Subject says, very tall, again, very large people, but they're thin. They look thin because of their height, and they dress like in, oh hell, I love the way this guy talks. Like in, oh hell, it's like a real light silk, but it's not flowing type of clothing. It's like cut to fit.
So they have a good tailor on
Mars. It's very well tailored clothing. So the monitor, this asshole, says, move close to one of them and ask them to tell you about themselves. How is it? Okay.
Yeah. Keep
going. They're ancient people. They're dying. It's past their time or age. Monitor says, tell me about this. They're very philosophic about it. They're looking for a way to survive, and they just can't. Plus 40 minutes, definite voltage reversal, whatever that means.
Are they electrocuting him?
I don't know. Maybe that's why he's seeing this stuff. Then the subject says, can't seem to get their way out. They can't seem to find their way out. So they're hanging on while they look or wait for something to return or something coming with the answer. What is it they're waiting for? There evidently was a group or a party of them that went to find a new place to live. It's like I'm getting all kinds of overwhelming input of the corruption of their environment. It's failing very rapidly, and this group went somewhere, like a long way to find another place to live. What was the cause of the atmospheric disturbance or the environmental disturbance? I see a picture of like, oh hell, it's almost a warp in oh God, this is difficult. It's like going, let's see, the monitor says, raw data. It's just
monitor.
Right? Fuckwad coming in. Oh, I get a globe. Oh, it's a globe.
Globe, not a flat.
It's like a globe that goes through a comet's tail, or it's through a river of something, but it's all very cosmic. It's like space pictures. Okay. And the monitor says,
well, you're on Mars, dickhead.
Yeah. The monitor says, all right, now before you leave this individual, let's just bother him again. Ask him if there is any way that ask him if he knows who you are. And is
ask him if he knows Mark Sargent.
Does he know?
Right. Do you know this twat? Yes.
Is there any way you can help him in his present predicament? The subject says, all I get is that they must just wait. Doesn't know who I am. Think he perceives I'm a hallucination or something. Okay, the monitor says. When the others left, these people are waiting. When the others left, how did they go? Subject says, get an impression of, don't know what the hell it is. It looks like the inside of a larger boat, very rounded walls and shiny metal. So the monitor says, go along with them on their journey and find out where it is they go. What? This monitor's a jackass.
Yeah, and chip in for gas money as well.
Right. So the subject, yeah, exactly. So the subject says, impression of a really crazy place with volcano and gas pockets and strange plants, very volatile place. It's very much like going from the frying pan into the fire. Difference is there seems to be a lot of vegetation where the other place did not have it, and different kinds of storms. The monitor says, okay, it's time to come back now to the sound of my voice. So he moves him back into the present day. Yeah. And that is the end of the interview. What do you think?
So what?
I think judging on comparison, Noah seems sane compared to that.
Noah may have a point. So the government has people that are astral projecting. So they're like putting these people into whatever their trance is, and then they're sending them to specific coordinates.
Yes, that's what they do.
They're just normal people.
Yes. I've heard of them doing that on the moon as well. They give them specific coordinates for the moon. They don't want to tell them the place because they don't want to influence it.
Right.
So they somehow figured out that the mind is able to interpret that data.
I can't even find my way to your house without my GPS.
Yeah.
Well, that's the point. They don't want them to know where it is they're going.
Right, but like if you didn't want me to know where I was going and you're like, just come to these coordinates, and I'd be like, well, I'm gonna go fuck myself because I don't know I don't even know which one's latitude and which one's longitude. Much.
Here's the question. There is a theory that our life as we know it, humans,
yes,
actually came from Mars in the distant past.
I know this.
So is that what he's now seeing? Are these the beings that came from Mars to Earth, if this theory is true?
Right.
Yeah.
Are these because what he was describing, I would assume, would be very similar to Earth in 1 million BC.
Right.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting time travel theories within the whole UFO community.
Well, it kind of makes sense.
It does kind of go hand in hand. I mean, there's Colonel Philip Corso, who wrote The Day After Roswell. He wrote about he basically alleges that he was involved with the Roswell crash, with not right when it crashed, but afterwards when it came to like Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, which they claim it did, the wreckage did, and he says there were bodies. But his theory was that these beings that were in this crash were actually humans from the future that had come back in time.
Cool.
And that they weren't actually extraterrestrials, they were just humans far into the future.
Well, they ain't very good fucking drivers, are they?
They were women.
They were women. Oh, maybe they were.
Your turn to park. Oh, fucking hell.
Jesus.
Oh, fucking. Should we just park it on that desert? Oh, fucking hell.
I got a parallel park. I never learned. So, time travel, do you guys think it's going to be a thing? Do you think we'll be able to do it or no? In our lifetime, do you think we'll see even the remote beginning of time travel?
No.
Me neither.
I don't know. Well, yes, we already see it. We see time travel into the future.
You literal fucking asshole.
The astronauts do it.
Goodbye, Lynn.
That was just broad and a Brit.
Just
one broad and a Brit. We're left down.
One broad and a Brit.
One.
It's gone to shit. The whole
Goodbye.
thing.
This is 3 episodes.
No, I think the answer is no.
I don't know. I think we need to talk about the secret space program.
Well, I think
we will.
I definitely think that some secret government project has tried it.
Right.
What
Obviously,
from what country? I don't know, but I can't believe for 1 minute that either your country or my country or some secret government, project or top secret thing hasn't tried it.
Right.
In some sort of experiment. I can't believe that they haven't tried because So what? But the thing is, if it's a success, that's easy for me to say.
Right.
They're not going to publicly announce it, are they?
No. True.
They're going to send back little fuckers like Noah to tell us all about it.
Yeah. So they're not going to say, you know what, we've got some smashing news for everybody tonight. Hold on to your fucking tin helmets. Get a load of this. We've invented time travel. Now over to Carol for the weather.
Well, according to Noah, I don't know if I said this, he said that time travel is going to be made publicly known in 2028. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. That's 9 years from now.
9 years from now, someone else have probably done him in by then. But what is Noah?
Someone else.
Yes, someone else.
But
this is going to be evidence someday.
I know.
The thing is, in 2028, Noah will be saying, "Oh, I've now gone to the year 2070."
Right.
It was like, I've come back and.
Oh, there's a fat dude that claims to be Noah from the year 2050 or 2070. 2070, actually. Yeah, you're right.
There
2070. Is? Yeah. And then the guy from Apex TV introduces the Noah from 2030 to the Noah from 2070. And he's like, is he giving you any information to help you believe that this is actually you from the future? And he was like, yeah, he totally told me like all these things are going to happen. So he's got to be me. And then they supposedly did x-rays of the older Noah who is fat, like the old fat Noah.
Well, he got over his anorexia.
He did, evidently.
Oh, yeah.
So, and he also has the implant in his wrist.
Goodbye, cruel world. I no longer want to live anymore. I don't want to live in a planet where a fat guy and a skinny guy can get together and say that they're the same guy from different time eras with rice in their wrist.
Rice in their wrist.
Yeah.
On it. So we're all, except for Lynn, believe that time travel won't actually be a thing in our lifetime.
Already is.
Not like real time travel, Lynn. Not like 2.2 seconds.
Yeah.
In the Hadron Collider.
Whatever, haters.
Bitch ass. Bitch ass. And then, but do you think it'll be a thing at some point?
Maybe.
No,
I don't. You think?
I don't. Well, it'll be underground rather than
right.
public.
I think, I don't think it's something that you could like trust the actual general public.
No, I mean that's another thing. Noah was saying that people people could time travel, like they could
let's go
tourists.
on a vacation to the year 2000.
Exactly. Yep.
So cool. All right.
So what are we doing next episode?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't have a next episode picked yet. So it's gonna be the mystery episode.
Ooh.
I'm singing a lot and I'm sorry.
It's like a musical.
No. It's just a weird thing that I do when like life gets weird. When your sentences. When you're paying for something and you can't get your money back in your wallet and you're standing awkwardly at the register.
Yes.
Are you back in Thailand now or?
Yes. I sing to the people while I'm trying to get my money, and it's something that just happens. It's like I can't control it. So I'll be like trying to get the 5 in here, and I dance, and then I always look up and make eye contact with them, and they're like horrified. They're horrified every
just
time.
To make it super awkward.
Yeah, and then I tell them about it. I don't just leave it. I go, sorry, I just sang at you, and then we have to have a weird conversation about how I sang about the money. And there's always somebody behind me who's just furious because they want their fucking coffee
hell out of the way,
or whatever it is. It's always super awkward. So the singing is the thing that's going to happen. I'm sorry.
So that's how we'll know when you're feeling awkward.
Well, I'm always kind of awkward, but when it just comes out of my face, I have no control.
It's all right.
Well, so next week's episode will be just the mystery.
Well, we can decide in the week. We've got a whole bunch of stuff.
We'll figure it out and we'll post it on our Facebook. So you might.
Oh, there you go.
You should maybe like our Facebook page.
So are we back to? We're doing this in order, aren't we? So
wait.
Back to you, Caitlin, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll be me.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be something real dumb. Nothing that has scientists or physics or anything that makes you actually think. Maybe I'll just do a whole episode on strippers I've seen.
Nice.
So that's something that I could actually talk about for like an hour.
Amazing.
But I won't do that to you. But it'll probably be murder related. Murder.
Well, you, Caitlin, you pick because it's your go.
Yeah. So I'll pick something, and then we'll let everyone know. But for now, thanks to our 3 listeners and followers.
Yeah.
Because still have. It's probably down to 2.
Yeah, right.
So thanks to our 2 followers.
I think 2 is quite optimistic after the last
great. I know. We've probably fucked it all up. So thank you guys for listening. And as always, we're all over the social media crap, I guess, kind of trying to learn it. So it's two broads and a Brit with just the 2, not the number. Spell the word. Don't be lazy. And we appreciate you guys kind of listening and hanging out with us and being weird. And that's fucking it.
Fucking piss off the lot of you.
Fucking piss off.